Hey guys, so I've been requested to make a video discussing Legends Limited Super Vegeta by quite a lot of people, so I figured let's go ahead and do that, knock this out of the way. Now that the character's been out for about 3 or 4 days, we've had some ample time to use him, and I think I've been able to form a decent opinion around how good I think he is. I have recorded at this point. This video might be going up before all of these showcases are up, but at this point I've done all the showcases, all the normal showcases. The initial showcase, 14 stars, Zenkai buffed, arts boosted, and I actually have already finished recording my God rank grind, which I did include, obviously, this Vegeta in because I like to do the God rank grind with the newest characters. So I did use this Vegeta for the God rank grind. So I think I have a good grasp and understanding as to how good I think this guy is and where he sort of falls into place for this meta that we're in right now. So I think what I'm going to be doing now, this is probably going to sound more of like a negative video about this character, but I think, if you play the game to any degree, if you have experience either using this character or fighting against this character, I think most people would probably agree that there's not, the level of power we would have hoped from this character. And so a lot of this video is going to be me giving criticisms about the character and saying what I think they could have done better with him. I will start the video though by saying that I think how underwhelming he is being a bit overblown by people. I guess something else to mention also is the fact that I think this is a character that is going to benefit significantly from having more stars. Just due to the nature of how he works, right? You kind of are expected to be able to snipe characters with his lock-in, long combo character. Like these kinds of characters are not going to perform as well at lower stars, especially if you're going up against characters that are higher star than you with this unit. But I've seen a lot of like super negative comments about this character, like he deserves a Goku and Frieza buff. He needs unique equipment like immediately. I think if we compare how good this Vegeta is to, and if you guys notice, I do have basically every recent release, summonable character release pulled up, basically everything starting from the beginning of Legends Fest. I think is a good, comparison to have to Vegeta. So again, Legends Fest Part 1, these characters released in November of 2023. We're now in mid to late February of 2024, so we're talking 3 months later. There should be I want to say significant differences between how good a February 2024 character versus how good a November 2023 character is, but at the very least we should be expecting major headlining releases like Vegeta, like Super 17. These guys should be at the very least on par with Part 1 Legends Fest characters, considering that there is a 3-month gap in between these releases. So I have seen people very, very down on this Vegeta, and I am going to say that I don't think he's quite as bad as most people are making him out to be, but he's certainly not nearly as good as he should have been. That is for sure. And I think, at least for me and for a lot of other people that are disappointed in this character, the main area of disappointment is not the fact that simply Vegeta is not as good as he should have been, but this is, number one, the first solo Vegeta release we've gotten in a very, very long time. And number two, Vegeta Clan as a team just simply isn't cohesive. It doesn't work as well. It isn't as powerful straight up as the other best teams in the game are. Saiyans, GT, Sun Family. Like, it doesn't hold a candle to those better teams at all. It's like not even close. Not even remotely competitive at all. So, for people who are fans of Vegeta as a character, for people who have, enjoyed using the Vegeta Clan team just in general and maybe would have hoped that Vegeta Clan would have gotten some kind of character that would at least move the needle a little bit in, the right direction, definitely is not the case with this Super Vegeta. The Super Vegeta, if you're more of a casual player, you're not really somebody who's super competitive, that's fine, right? You can still obviously have fun with this character. And I don't think he's so bad to the point where he's just completely unusable immediately. I did have fairly decent success using him throughout the God rank grind video, and you guys will see that video again. I think this video will probably drop before the God rank grind video, but I actually did have some decent success with him throughout the God rank grind video. So there's certain ways you can make use of his mechanics and abilities to make him look pretty good. But again, in the grand scheme of things, and with the current meta environment that we're in right now, he's certainly not nearly as good as he should have been as, you know, a character. Most people regard Vegeta as the second most popular character in Dragon Ball, which probably is correct. It hasn't gotten much representation for individuality, right? When was the last time we got a solo Vegeta release? Headlining summonable Vegeta release? Grade 8? 3 years ago? 2.5 years ago? Whenever that was. So I think for people who are fans of this character, it certainly has left a bad taste in their mouth, because people are waiting and waiting and waiting, and then when they finally get the character they want, he's not nearly as good as he should have been, especially when we compare him to like Super 17, who of course is the last major release. And I think you can trace this back to even like the breakdown video. I remember looking through Super 17's details and just making various remarks about how stupid his kit is, how he seemingly is gonna have like almost no weaknesses. And then I remember going through Vegeta's kit when his details dropped, and definitely weren't able to make the same comments about what I was seeing with his kit. Although I think a lot of the problems with Vegeta, which we're about to talk about in a second, there's two major issues with him. A lot of the major problems with Vegeta weren't super apparent until we started to use him. And I will continue to say this every time we get a new character revealed to us. You can't really accurately judge how good a character is going to be until you use them, unless they're just like obviously ridiculous. Like Super 17 drops, you look at his kit, and I don't know, a dodo bird could tell that he was going to be ridiculous, right? Like it was so obvious. They obviously thought that not a lot of people would be coerced into summoning for Super 17. I would assume just mostly based off of how popular the character is, not so much because of the kit. So in order to compensate for that lesser popularity that this character has associated with him, I mean, people aren't really super into Super 17. That's just the way it is. In order to compensate for that, they pumped up his stats and pumped up his kit and made him ridiculous. That's just the way that they compensated for that, so that people would be more incentivized to summon for him. Vegeta, unfortunately, did not get that same treatment. But again, I think in order to accurately judge how good these characters are, even after like one day of using them, it's really hard to form an accurate opinion. That's why I always like to do at least 3 or 4 or even 5 different videos, do a lengthy God rank grind video, so that I could at least gain an understanding of how the character interacts with the other characters that are currently being used in the meta. So that's why I took a little bit of extra time to, formulate my opinions about this character and get a bit more experience, not only fighting with him, but also fighting against him, because I actually have fought a decent amount of people using this Vegeta. And I fought a lot of people that have not used this Vegeta, which I think is telling as to how good Vegeta is. Typically, if a character is very, very good, and they have the potential to heavily impact the meta, guess what happens? You see those characters used at a higher frequency than characters that don't have that potential. And that's exactly what we saw with characters like Super 17. That's what we saw with not so much as Goku initially, but when Super 17 dropped, we started seeing these guys being ran together. When UI Goku dropped, everybody used UI Goku. When Goku and Bardock dropped, everybody used Goku and Bardock. When Beast Gohan dropped, everybody used Beast Gohan, and then this character as well. With Vegeta, I would say I maybe saw him in 10% or less of my total matches that I fought for my God rank grind, which is not a huge sample size. I think I ended up doing maybe around 20-25 fights for my God rank grind. It wasn't an extensively long one. Well, maybe not just the God rank grind, but just overall in terms of the showcase videos that I've done. Like I haven't really fought that many Vegetas, 3, 4 maybe. So I think that's also a telling sign of, maybe people tried him out. People didn't like him as much. People saw his kit and didn't even want to summon for him. Like I don't know what the answer is, but the rate at which you encounter characters in PvP, I think, is also at least a piece of the puzzle for an indication as to how good they are and how much they affect the game. Because naturally, people are going to gravitate to using the best characters. So So what exactly holds this Vegeta back from being as good as a lot of the other recent releases? Again, I have them all pulled up here. Everything going back until the beginning of Legends Fest, which is basically the past 3 months of the game. There's two things that I think really hold this Vegeta back in terms of not being as good as these other releases. I'm going to go with the first thing is going to be a lesser impactful thing, I think. And then the second point is going to be what I think is actually the main issue with him. So I guess something, actually, before we even jump into those things, one thing I'll mention about this character is that his defenses are appallingly bad. But that's honestly not that, like, crazy, because we are at a point right now where, like, you really can't take much punishment with any character. Like, there's no character that's going to be coming in and just, like, soaking up damage. This is the only character, really, that you can really do that with because of how much he's healing and how much his unique gauge heals him, and the type neutrality, the non-cancelable. Like, this is a very, very good defensive unit. I would probably say this is the best defensive unit we have in the game right now, which is that's pretty good for GT, and he's one of the reasons why GT is as good as it is. But other than that GT Goku, there really aren't that many characters that can just sit there and with raw bulk take hit after hit after hit. We even see characters, I mean, I've used 16 for a little bit now, you even see characters like 16 who not only have reduced damage received by 70%, he also has additional reduced damage received from most other damage types in the game on top of the 70% reduced damage received. He also has some of the highest defense stats in the game, and, you know, him eating a full combo from like Super 17 or Goku and Bardock, he's still going to take a lot of damage, if not just straight up die in one combo without having to switch. So there's like almost no hope for characters' abilities to be able to sit there and tank combos. So I'm not gonna hold this Vegeta I'm not gonna hold him hostage too badly, because he's not able to do that. But he, I've noticed, takes a lot of, like, more so than most other characters. He takes a lot of damage. I'm not really too sure why. I think one of the reasons is just because he doesn't have very good Zenkai buffers, which is one thing I do want to mention as well. So if we go over to characters here, this is a major issue with Vegeta. So let's go to, where's Zenkai only, and then we're going to go to Red. So here, Vegeta currently has 4 Zenkai buffers. So the first one is going to be Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. So I guess we'll just pull him up just so I can show him. We'll pull him up, we'll pull Majin Vegeta up, and then we'll pull this guy. So these are the 3 summonable Zenkai buffers that Super Vegeta has. This Vegeta, who is only buffing Blast Attack with his Z ability. We have Red Majin Vegeta, who is only buffing Blast Attack, and then I guess he also buffs Self-Destruct damage with his Z ability. We have Namek Goku, who's only buffing Strike Attack with his Z ability. And then we have Kakarot Goku, who unironically, this is his best Zenkai buffer, because the team that I ran for him and the team that I actually did enjoy using with him on it is the Saiyan team. And you just put him in leader slot. What I did is my team, I'll just get rid of these tabs. My team ended up being, let's see. Yeah, so I ran this Kakarot Goku on the bench to Zenkai buff him. I ran Vegeta, I ran this Goku, and then I ran Goku and Bardock. And that was my Saiyan team. So I ran Vegeta in leader slot, and then I ran this GT Goku and then Goku and Bardock. I think I got rid of Super 17 by accident. Let me pull him back up. But the fact that you don't really have a full, because even that Kakarot Goku, he's technically Zenkai buffing him. But his Zenkai buff, obviously because he's a free-to-play event character, who's only giving about half of the normal Zenkai ability that summonable Zenkai characters give. So as of right now, I mean, this Vegeta doesn't have a real Zenkai buffer, which is pretty bad. But okay, those are some, I would say, not as important things. The first thing I do want to quickly mention, though, is his unique gauge. I think this unique gauge is very, very good in terms of the effects that it has. It's just, it takes too long to activate this, right? We compare this, I'm gonna be comparing this guy to a lot of other characters that I have pulled up here. We have Super 17, he gets cover null immediately. We have Goku, he gets cover null immediately. We have UI Goku, who doesn't have cover null immediately, but he has an anti-switch mechanic that helps him snipe characters out. I mean, to be honest, UI Goku's a bit of an exception to the rule, though, because a lot of times you're not using UI Goku to extend combos for super long periods of time. You're using him more as a defensive tool, generate green cards, reduce sub count, again, sniping people with his anti-change mechanic. But he can have cover null with his green card right away if you have one, which is really good. Goku and Bardock have some of the easiest cover null restrictions in the game. Green card gives them cover nullification for 2 cards, and then if you are able to chain those 2 cards together before the enemy can cover change against you, you then get cover null even longer, because Goku and Bardock both have separate activations for cover nullification when you're able to link 2 cards with them. Beast has cover null whenever he either gets hit or an ally gets hit. Very, very easy. And then these guys get cover null on their green card and when they fill up the unique gauge. Again, not too tough to do. Vegeta is restricted to getting cover nullification from his unique gauge filling up and also from his main ability. Obviously, you can, switch into him off of a blast card, pop the main ability, and then get cover nullification. But the problem with this is obviously it's because his main ability you can only use this one time. And then if you chain this into the unique gauge, I've actually noticed that, like, if you compare how this Vegeta feels without his unique gauge active to having his unique gauge, he actually feels like a completely separate character. Like, Vegeta without his unique gauge up feels like, I don't know, maybe I'd say like a late 2022, early 2023 level character. Like, he's not impressive at all for a 2024 release. With his unique gauge up, this is a very, very powerful character. He actually feels pretty strong with his full unique gauge. He's type neutral. He has double card draw speed. He does have cover nullification. He's locking a lot of different cards. He's nullifying his abnormal conditions. And then don't forget, he is gaining ki from I think it's every 3 counts, and he's healing a little bit and stuff like this. So, and he's debuffing the entire, like this, once this Vegeta actually has his unique gauge up, he's actually pretty good. And I think I was able to highlight that pretty well throughout the God Rank Grind video. Vegeta with his unique gauge actually puts in decent work. But again, the problem with the unique gauge isn't so much the effects that it has, it's actually getting the unique gauge to activate. It's not super hard. It takes, I think it's a total of 10 counts upon switch in. Like, so you switch in, and then after 10 counts, you're getting the unique gauge filled up. It's just, it's too long. And I think there's too big of a difference between how good Vegeta is with the unique gauge versus how good he is without the unique gauge. And so the difficulty that you're going to experience in using this character is finding ways to actually get the unique gauge off and then getting a combo with this Vegeta. At that point, he's good. But compare that difficulty to Super 17, where you switch in with Super 17, you start a combo, and somebody is like either dead or severely crippled for the rest of the fight. And it takes 0 effort whatsoever. So that's the first major problem. So the second major problem, I think, is actually going to be this Vegeta's biggest problem that I've seen. I've only seen a few people talk about this because it's not really something that you think of. It's not something that's super tangible unless you are actually using Vegeta. And this has happened to me multiple times. And it's honestly a problem that I don't remember the last character where this was actually like a super prominent issue for them. And it's simply the fact that he doesn't have enough key recovery / arts cost down. It's a very weird like issue to have as a 2024 release. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through every other character and I'm going to point out exactly why this Vegeta has this problem. So if we take a look through Vegeta's kit here, Vegeta is getting 0 key recovery in his baseline here. I call this the baseline because this is like what every character, like when the battle starts, this is what he's getting. 100% damage, 70% reduced damage received, arts card draw speed by 1 level. That's his base stat spread here. He's not getting key recovery. He's not getting cost down. He's not getting key when he uses these arts cards. By the way, I think this is the dumbest thing ever. This actually accomplishes nothing at all. Reducing enemy key by 30 does nothing unless it's comboed, together with reducing enemy key recovery. If this also reduced enemy key recovery by 50%, then it would actually have some kind of effect. But when you're just reducing enemy ki by 30 every time you're landing a card like this, by the time the animation is over, the enemy has already recovered like 2/3 to 80% of the ki back from this. It actually is worthless. This should have been 5 ki on strike. This should have been 10 ki on blast. This character would actually, I'm telling you, with those 2 minor changes, this character would feel, I don't want to call him like twice as good, but he would feel significantly better with that change. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through these other characters here, and I'm going to just show you guys where those other characters don't experience this problem. So let's start with Super 17. So I don't really think we need to go in depth about Super 17, but Super 17, again, in his base stat spread, he's getting -10 to blast cost. Already he's going to experience this problem way less than Vegeta is. On top of this, we know that Super 17 is stacking ki recovery 4 times. Every time he uses a blast card, we know how many times he draws blast cards. The first time he uses a card, he's filling up his unique gauge. He's getting 40 ki every time he fills the unique gauge. So there is no planet where this guy does not, or there's no planet where this character is ever really going to have ki problems. Now, this Goku is probably the only other character we're going to talk about here that potentially could have ki problems. But even this Goku, who is not an offensive character, like, let's get this straight. Vegeta is designed to be an offensive character. He's a melee type character. He does not tank hits well at all. He is a strike character who's meant to do tons of strike damage and combo for long periods of time with his unique gauge up. That's what the design of the character is, just straight up. This Goku's design is completely different. Again, I mentioned earlier, this is one of the only characters in the game that can actually tank pretty well. He's more of a utility character. He has a really good green card with the Solar Flare. His ultimate hits really, really hard. He has uncancelable endurance. He is providing some assistance in the form of... what does he get? I can never remember what he gets with his unique gauge fully activated. He gets extra damage, Dragon Balls. Oh yeah, and he gets like just better stuff with his like blue card, stuff like that. So he's not technically supporting the team, right? But yeah, he's getting a lot of extra mechanics with his like lock-in and stuff, depending on how many enemy battle numbers are there. Even though he's not an offensive character by any means, even this GT Goku applies the following effects to self every time this character uses a strike or a blast card. Restores ki by 10. Boom, that's it. That's up. Vegeta, if I'm telling again, if Vegeta just had that, he doesn't need Super 17's, minus blast costs plus ki recovery, and then he's getting like 40 ki every 2 seconds. Like, he doesn't need all that. He just needs something. And I think this could actually help him tremendously. 10 ki whenever he uses Strike or Blast. That's it. That would help a lot. UI Goku, I mean, you guys know how UI Goku works. He also gets cost, ki recovery through his baseline spread here. But don't forget, he's getting ki recovery from his ultra ability as well. 30% ki recovery here, 50% ki recovery here. He's up to 80% ki recovery already. He switches into the battlefield. He reduces his blast arts cost by 10 counts. That's enough for UI Goku. 80% ki recovery plus the 10 cost reduction for blast cards. That's good. Like that's what we would expect from a modern summonable character, let alone an ultra character. Next we have Goku and Bardock. Goku and Bardock have just a traditional cost reduction. I mean, they're a tag character. I'm gonna make the same comment about this Goku and Vegeta, but I mean they're a tag character, so they're getting 40 ki on tag in, and you know how often these guys are able to tag switch. So this is giving 40 ki per tag switch. They have -7 to both strike and blast costs. Okay, -7 to both strike and blast costs. And then don't forget as well, their blast card does give 5 ki on activation. So there is no way, I mean, I'm sure you guys have used this character or fought against this character. It seems like their combos go on forever. You guys know how little ki problems this character has. That's one of their strengths. They're able to combo for a very, very long time, very, very long periods of time. Beast Gohan. So I'm not even going to talk about the post-transform version of this character. I'm just going to talk about this pre-transform version. I guess we can sort of draw parallels between the pre-transformed version of Beast Gohan and like this GT Goku, whereas this character, before he transforms, is probably less of an offensive character and more of a defensive character. That's just the way he's designed. But again, even though that is the case, he does have built-in cost reduction, stuff like that. 10 counts elapse, he gets -5 to all arts costs. 25 counts elapse, he gets 60% to key recovery. And then he also has this effect as well, which is honestly, this is a worse version of Super Vegeta's mechanic. He gets 15 key every 4 counts, whereas Super Vegeta gets 20 key every 3 counts. But I will tell you guys, I'd rather have 15 key every 4 counts if I also have 60% key recovery and -5 to all arts cost. Like, this is just a superior kit. This is superior in every way to what Vegeta has in terms of his key mechanics. So even the defensive pre-transformed, Ultimate Gohan here has better key mechanics than Vegeta does. And then last but not least, we have these guys. I mean, there's not much that needs to be said here. They have 40% key recovery when they enter the battlefield here. I think this is the Vegeta side has this 20 key when their key is 30 or lower. He gets that back. But then obviously on top of that, he's both Goku and Vegeta. They're both stacking cost down. -3 to all arts cost for 4 counts on both the blast card and the strike card. So I mean, that's probably going to equate to like -6 to -9 costs on their cards, which is really, really good. So again, we look at every single LF and Ultra release since Legends Fest. Again, Beast Gohan and Blue Goku, Blue Kaioken Goku Evolution Blue. These guys came out in November, 3 months ago. Every single one has pretty powerful key mechanics. And then we get to Super Vegeta, who is supposed to be a character that you fill the unique gauge up with. He's comboing for a long time. For whatever reason, they decided they did not want to give this guy key mechanics at all. There's not the only key mechanic this character has is 20 key on entry, which is low. It's not a lot at all. And then 20 key every 3 counts. But when this is not even one blast card. He has 29 cost blast cards. This is not even enough to do one blast card. So what I've actually found, and this is where I'm going to combine both my first point with his unique gauge and the second point with the key mechanics. I have had instances where Vegeta gets the unique gauge filled up. He enters the battlefield, maybe you're like, in neutral trying to get priority, and you pop a green card or something and you catch the opponent doing something and you blast armor through and you start a combo or something. Like, let's just pretend that's the situation, right? And you actually do fill up his unique gauge. I've had situations where I'm only able to chain together like 4, 5, 6 cards before he runs out of key. And it's not the fault of the unique gauge, because the unique gauge isn't giving him key. It's just the fact that he doesn't have any key mechanics besides this. 20 key every 3 timer counts is not enough when you have no cost reduction, you have no key recovery, and you're not doing anything to gain any key besides just every 3 counts you're getting 20. Like, this is a very bad key mechanic when it's not comboed with something else. Again, if it was like Ultimate Gohan, where on top of that he's also getting cost down, he's also getting key recovery. Again, I'm not saying it has to be like Super 17 where it's like he's getting unlimited key at all times, but even something like GT Goku's mechanic, where it's just 10 key per card used, that would have been fine. Like, if you added this, I would even say, again, you could just get rid of this. Get rid of reduce enemy key. This is actually where, like, this is a meme. This is meme level bad. Reduce enemy key by 30. Like, this is actually this does nothing. Remove this, and replace that with restores key by 10 for both the strike and the blast card. I am telling you this character gets significantly better just off of that alone. So that, unfortunately, I think those are the 2 biggest problems with Vegeta, and they really go hand in hand as well, because you're like fighting with the character to get the unique gauge filled up with priority at the same time. So you have both those conditions fulfilled, and it's like even in that advantageous spot, you can run into key problems. And that's what's happened to me multiple times. I don't know if this is going to go up before or after the God Rank Grind video goes up, but if you guys watch that God Rank Grind video, you will see multiple instances in that video where I will have priority with Super Vegeta, with the unique gauge, like prime spot for this character. That's where he's supposed to be dominant. And I just get dry. I can't continue the combo because of his key problems. It is a significant problem. And the place where it rears its ugly head the most is the initial combo with the full unique gauge. Like you gain priority, and like in the middle of the combo you fill the unique gauge up. That's fine. Number one, the unique gauge doesn't give key for whatever reason on when you fill it up to the max. And then number two, you're gonna have double card draw speed at that point. You're gonna be drawing tons of cards, but you can't even use the cards because you just don't have enough key. And then on top of that, you have characters that are increasing your arts costs. Like again, GT Goku. This character, like I actually have had instances where Vegeta is able to do significant damage to GT Goku because again, he goes type neutral with the unique gauge being filled up. But I've had instances where I'm looking at like 38 cost blast cards with this Vegeta. You think this is going to help against when you have a hand of 3 38 cost blast cards? No. It's going to get you halfway to being able to use one. So again, the biggest problem for me with this Vegeta is his key mechanics are just really, really subpar. And when we compare him to every single other major release in the past 3 months, he's behind all of them. Characters that released 3 months ago are in front of this character when they're not even supposed to be offensive units in terms of their key mechanics. So that just makes no sense at all. I actually think they might have like forgot to give him some kind of key mechanic. Like it's insane to think of a 2024 character that has released headlining LF with no key recovery, no cost reduction, and he's supposed to be a character that you're going to be comboing for long periods of time with. I'm looking at the Vegeta clan team here. I think I had this pulled up earlier, and yeah, here we go. Like I had this Vegeta clan team pulled up here ready to talk about this, but I don't even think we need to. This character needed to be Vegeta clan's version of this character. Vegeta clan has the thing about this team is Vegeta clan has no special abilities. Like this Vegeta does not have a special ability. When I say special abilities, I mean like revival, I mean like Goku and Frieza's unique gauge, vanish removal, like stuff like that AoE green card, things that are going to separate like characters like this and characters like this from characters like this. Like this character, I would argue, does not have anything special about them. They're a character that does a lot of combos, and that's it. And they do such little damage in their combos that like a lot of times it's not even worth continuing the combo because of how little damage you're doing due to the combo compensation. I don't know, man. Like Vegeta is, again, he's not terrible. I think people are overblowing how bad he is. He can do stuff with his unique gauge actually filled up. He is pretty good, but he's not special. And that's what this team needed. This team needed a special character. Bulla is good. She's not great. Pan, Trunks, and Gyro are good. They're not great. This character can be great, but they have to have the entire team built around them, and they're not special enough to make Vegeta Clan a team that's competing with like the other best teams. So I don't really think Super Vegeta moved the needle for Vegeta Clan. And as a conclusion to this video, again, this is going to circle back to what I mentioned at the beginning. Like Vegeta needed to move the needle for Vegeta Clan. That was supposed to be the purpose of this character. The last standalone Vegeta, I think, was just grade 8 Vegeta, right? We had the Tag Blues. Obviously, Goku was included there. We had this Vegeta, who was probably one of the worst sparking releases of all time. He was terrible. Banner unit on the 4th anniversary next to UI Goku. We had the Tag 4s. Of course, Goku obviously was included in the card. We had Vegeta and Trunks. So obviously, Trunks was included in the card. This character was definitely not as good as they should have been on release either. We had the Buu duo. Obviously, Goku was here. Character not even close to as good as it should have been on release. We have Blue Kaioken Goku Evolution Blue Vegeta. Definitely a very good character. I think over the course of Legends Fest, they did sort of start to fall off a little bit just because of the rest of how good Legends Fest was, and they really fall victim to UI Goku, and just they get stomped by Super 7. Like Super 17 just like takes this character and just like face plants them into the pavement. Like it's I don't know. But yeah, now we're here, right? So finally, this guy comes out in 2021, and now we get the next Vegeta in 2024, and he's kind of just okay. So Vegeta Clan, I actually genuinely feel bad for people who are like really invested in Vegeta Clan and who really like just Vegeta as a character. This character and the team have been done extremely dirty throughout the course of the past 3 years. So I'm kind of hoping that, you know, as we move forward throughout 2024, we continue to get additional buffs for this team. Maybe we will see a character that's going to synergize like super well with Super Vegeta, and that's the reason why they didn't really make him ridiculous. But we'll have to wait and see if that ends up being true. Let me know down below what you guys think of Super Vegeta. How has your experience been using him, fighting against him? I'm assuming most people didn't summon for him, but if you fought against him, let me know how that's been. What are your thoughts about this character? Do you think he's fine? Do you think he's not good enough? Do you think, well, I was going to say, do you think he's too good? But I don't think anybody thinks he's too good. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are about this character. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all in the next one.